Santi, you're an author. How does it feel to have a book in the world?
Oh, dear. Wow. Yeah, thanks. It's incredible. And welcome once again to the channel. It's always a privilege to have this chat. I must say, today has been quite a busy day, doing all the things we need to do, teaching and learning and reading and all that. So coming back to your question, how does it feel to have a book? It's good, eh? I never realized it would be such a lovely feeling. But it's not actually my first publication. I do publish in the academic field, human settlements, in architecture. And so having now a book, which is different from having an article out there, I think it's good, eh? It's good because it allows you to share your thoughts. It allows one to even reflect. I must say the process of writing this book on prayer, reflections on prayer, which is out. It's out on Amazon. It's out on Take a Lot and all the other channels, places where you could get your ebooks. And then definitely we'll have hard copies being sent out up for sale also. But coming back to just the thought of working on a book and getting one's thoughts out there, it's a real process. It's a process of reflection. You reflect on what you have been doing, where you're coming from, and also having to now bring in, references or other people's thoughts on the same subject, especially if it's an academic article. I think it's really a privilege to be able to share those thoughts in that way. So on reflections on prayer, I would say it's taken almost like 3 years. Believe it or not, it's such a little book. It's a prayer companion, but it's taken so long because it's about working and reworking even the thoughts, creating them into a readable way, the editing processes, and even just getting it to a point where not only you understand what you're saying, but others who are reading the book could get the gist of what you're saying. So it's been that kind of journey, start and stop. Started during COVID, and COVID was a good time to reflect, and to many of us reflected in that time. What is it all about? Even in marriages, people had to reflect, what is this really all about? And I promise you, there were many lessons learned, a lot of shedding that happened because you now realized, why am I running up and down? What is life really all about? And I challenge each one of us out there to just start thinking about it. And maybe there are books, not just one book, maybe there are books in you that need to come out. And when they come out, they would give you a better perspective going forward, but also share the learning curve that has happened in that process. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. Starting on the next one, hopefully. Yeah, it's almost like construction. You start and you don't want to stop.
So, considering that you're a very busy person, how was the writing process like? Like, where do you find the time to write? What was that like? And you've just said it took you 3 to 4 years to write the book, a little book. So, what was that like for you?
Yeah. So the writing process, as they will always say, just start, start. And I think by journaling also, for those who would want to go into writing your own personal thoughts on issues, just journal. Because maybe the way you start or when you start, it's a topic that is burning in your heart. You may feel nobody has written about it, but once you put a title to it and you start researching into that topic, you may find that there's been quite a lot that has been done on it in different areas, different perspective. And then as academic, you may want to now fill the gap in from a point of view that has not been touched on before. So for me, nobody has touched on my own reflections on prayer. It is truly about me and how I feel about prayer, but bringing it into the perspective of the different experiential learning that I've had over the years. I think the time then comes in if you are doing bits, you're doing bits as you go along. But also another way I've found of doing that is actually by setting up the structure. If you have the structure, you can go away with one section, work on it, in 1 week or 1 month, depending on how you want to pace yourself through the book writing. And so you write the different sections and you bring it back all together once you finish those sections. Another way is to call in co-authors, which I think is what I'm going to do for the next one. Have co-authors that you can have different topics and different sections of the book so that it is more impactful, in a way that you would envisage it going forward. So the time could be your downtime, your sleep time. If it's really something bugging you, it could be in the middle of the night. You just wake up with that, I must say this, or as you experience things. I was opportune to be at a book launch on Friday, and the lady just reflected on bullying in the workplace, and so many people can identify with that. By journaling and then reflecting and journaling, researching, journaling, and carrying on, you could write a book over a period of time and then sit 1 month with it and finish it off. So that, I think, would be the way to go about it, or finding the time to write. I think for many of us, especially professional women, professional men, during the downtime, maybe you're not fully engaged, and you seem to have all the time in the world. I think that's a good time to start journaling. You may journal through your Bible, you may journal by taking notes, doing short recordings and just storing them up. At a point in time, you may start filling in the gaps. And this could be a book, and the good thing about publishing books is that you capture the essence of that time. You share your experiences, and it's not just for now, eh? Even as we go along, people can learn that this is what happened in that time. And there are many books that we have seen that are just so impactful. For instance, one little book, I read that book online. It's online, by the way, As a Man Thinketh. It's a book that you need to read. And I read that book. I felt so like, wow, this is something that I need to have a hard copy. I ran to the bookshop to buy it, and it was such a little book, but the impact that book has made over the generations, it's incredible. So there's nothing so little, I think, when it comes from a place of authenticity. You are sharing the knowledge that has gained through the experience. So there are so many little books like that. It doesn't have to be a big book. It could start with a little book that makes the point and makes the impact that is necessary. I think, again, with the technology we have these days, your books can go even to the nooks and corners of the world that you have never been, because you can have the ebook, like Reflections on Prayer. I've said it's on Amazon. So anywhere you are in the world, you can get a copy. I must share something with you, though. I always wondered, when the book is published and it goes on Amazon, where am I going to get, or how am I going to get the copies to people in Canada or Australia or in Dominica, those parts of the world that are so far away? And my publisher was like, don't even worry about it. Amazon will print it for you. I'm like, really? They will do that. So there are different techniques, different ways of sharing in form of a book, an ebook on Kindle. You can send it out. And if I would end on the note of the Great Commission each of us was given, it says, go, right? What does it say? Go and spread into the world. So you can send words. You can send words of encouragement in form of a book. You can send words of upliftment. Share your lessons so that people don't make the same mistakes again. The world now is in a place where there's so much reshuffling. the economic world, the economic powers, it's no longer a physical but an economic war. So you can share a lot about what is happening in your own corner of the world and even reflect on it from different perspectives. just in the way that you are saying it. So remember to share and to subscribe, and what else?
Buy my book.
Buy my book. Download the book, buy the e-copy, reach out if you need a hard copy. I'm sure it will be a blessing to you. Thanks for stopping by. Ciao.